Danielle just bought some potatoes at the market. She paid P over $7 for them, and they weighed 2/9 pounds. If potatoes cost R dollars per pound, which of the following is true for all possible values of P and R? Select all that apply. So let's think about this a little bit. However many pounds I buy, if I multiply that times the dollar per pound, that's going to give me the total price that I pay. So let me just write that down. 2/9, and I could even put the units there if I want, but they don't express the units there, so I won't do that here. But if I take the number of pounds times the dollar cost per pound, that should be equal to the total amount that I paid. So in this case, that is P over 7. So we know that this is the relationship between 2/9 R and P over 7. Now I don't see this relationship over here on the right-hand side. So I must have to manipulate it somehow in order to get something like that over here. So let's see the different ways that I could manipulate it. And maybe the first thing I'll see is maybe let me try to solve for P and see what I get. So to solve for P, I would multiply both sides of this equation by 7. So let's do that. Let's multiply both sides by 7. And so on the left-hand side, I would end up with 7 times 2 is 14. 14 over 9 R is equal to, well, that cancels with that is equal to P. And that's exactly what you have over here. Here they just wrote it the other way around. They wrote P is equal to 14 over 9 times R. If you have 14/9 R, that implicitly means you're multiplying 14 over 9 times R. So this and this are the exact same thing. So let me check that one. Now, this one over here, or both of these, they try to solve for R. So let's see which one is the correct one when I solve for R. So to solve for R right over here, I could multiply both sides of this equation times 9 over 14. 9 over 14. 9 over 14. That cancels with that. That cancels with that. And I am left with R. Actually, let me just do it in that. R is equal to 9 over 14P. Or I could write 9 over 14 times P, since they're explicitly writing the multiplication sign out there. But if I just wrote 9/14 P, that's the same thing as 9 over 14 times P. Let me write a little bit neater so you don't think that the P is in the denominator. Times P. All right. So R is definitely not 2/63 times P. R is 9 over 14 times P. So we'll go with that one right over there. And then finally, they're solving for 14 over 9. Let's see if this is true right over here. So we could go back to what we had. We could go back to this. And we saw that 14 over 9 times R is equal to P. If we wanted to solve for 14 over 9, we could divide both sides by R, and you would get 14 over 9 is equal to P over R, not P times R. So this one is not true. So these are the two that actually apply.